This is Dr. Gail James, and welcome to another episode of From Trauma to Triumph. I am your trauma therapist, and I have my guest here today with me, Kevin Samuel II, my son. And so we'll be talking about some of the things you can recognize of how trauma affects you individually. And then we're going to go into directly into some of the things that you can do to help you in those instances. So we'll dive right in. Negative self perception. Trauma can damage your self esteem, leading to feelings of unworthiness or believing one is not deserving of love. I know I dealt with this, which is why when I became a licensed therapist, one of the biggest thing I focused on was your self esteem. Because when you don't know your self worth, you accept so much that you should not. So I recognize for myself that I was getting into domestic violence relationships. I was getting into relationships that I was the provider to protect. I was the one or beyond. And I realized like, okay, and I started saying, I got myself on the clearance rack. Like, if I'm on the clearance rack with a 50 cents price tag up there, just saying, get me, just pick me up and get me. And I need to be in the glass case behind there with the key, like the diamond. So I started understanding. But what I understood most about that is the way you respect yourself and the way you view yourself is how others view you and how they respect you. So if I treat myself like I'm not nothing, you're gonna treat me like I'm nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, that's very true. And I guess I could say like when it comes to your self worth and like identifying what that looks like, off rip for the most part, we define it in what others think or feel when it comes to us. So there is really no opportunity to even delve into what you're worth, to even know what that looks like. And a lot of times it leads to situations like trying to find your happiness in someone else or trying to find you in someone else. So what tends to happen is because you haven't dealt with you, you're not blaming another individual or putting that responsibility on another individual to make you you. And so when you unpack that, now you have you're dealt with a conflict because the conflict is I'm with you and you're supposed to make me happy. Why aren't you making me happy? I don't need to be with you. And then guess what? You're gonna have 15 why you don't make me happy until you walk in that bathroom and look in the mirror and realize that you don't make me happy. And so that's where it stems from. It stems from you. And that's where a lot of that comes from. You won't find that self worth in you if you don't look for it to begin with. And if you don't know to look for it, you'll never find it.
You said something powerful just now. We look for ourselves in others, and I know I used to do that.
Mhm.
So I have started to where I don't expect other people to be me. So what I said to myself is whatever I give or whatever I do it unconditionally, not looking back for anything. Because here's what hurts us the most. What hurts us the most is when we've done all of this for someone.
Mhm.
And then we're looking for them to at least give half back. And they're like, but we have to understand what if we're looking for cup love, for bucket love from someone with cup love? They only have a capacity to give you cup love, but you're looking for bucket love. I got bucket love capability because I knew what it was to not be loved. So I learned to love on my children, love on my husband, and love on anybody that comes around me. But now I'm looking for that from people that don't have that to give.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where false expectations come in. And so you said it's expectations for them to give you. Well, I know what that love looks like, so you should be able to give it to me. Well, that may not be their capacity. They may not have the capacity to give you that love because they've never received it, or they don't know what it looks like, or they don't know how to love it.
Mm,
And how can you expect that when you don't even know how to love yourself?
mm.
So when you think about that, it's kind of like, okay, who's to blame? And what are you gonna do to change that when you're made aware of it? Like what are steps are you gonna take to say, okay, well this is how I'm looking to be loved and you're not giving me that love. So yeah, well, you need to move around.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, well, you can't move yourself around. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you can point every finger, but at the end of the day, it's gonna come back to you.
And four of them pointing back at you. Where you pointing
Well,
this
you
one?
pointing this one. So at the end of the day, I think that's the most important part of it. It's just being aware because that's what you lead to overextending.
Mhm.
And you overextended yourself to a point of no return. And so you've given out all this love and all this love and all this other bucket of love.
And you
And
waiting for them to give it back.
listen, I can't give you what I don't have.
Yeah.
So I got this cup.
You gonna take this cup
I'm gonna take this cup
and go on your way.
if you don't like this cup, I might be able to get you money. But that's the end of
That's
it.
it.
So that's just the reality of it. Uh this was something great. And I think it's something like everyone can kind of take. You can take something away from it. Um, trust and take people for who they are, not who you want them to be.
Mm.
You spend a lifetime trying to make people this image of what you think they should be. And then you come to the realization that nah, I can't trust people.
Mhm.
I can trust you to be exactly who you are.
Yes. Because when you show me who you are, that's who I believe and that's who I'm gonna deal
That's what
with.
I'm gonna deal with.
Yeah. I want to go to the last one, which is difficulty communicating need. As trauma survivors, we may struggle to express our needs clearly, which I do. Making it hard for partners to understand our perspective. So I know I've done this. I when I when I struggle with something, I isolate and I get very quiet. And my reasoning is I don't even understand it enough to explain it to you. So a lot of times my poor husband, y'all pray for him. I explode by the time it's months gone by and I haven't said anything. I just expect him to pull it out the air, really. And if he doesn't pull it out the air and figure it out, now I'm mad. And so I didn't communicate it with him. I didn't do any of that, but now I'm gonna blow up after 3 months of sitting it there and holding it in and not telling him anything. Meanwhile, I'm dying in silence. That's not his fault. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me not communicating, not knowing how to communicate my needs. That's me not being able to trust him enough to say, well, let's figure it out together because in my mind, I don't know. I don't understand. I need to understand and know before I say it to somebody. Sometimes it's not always that. Sometimes you don't always speak to someone just to get a result.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just speak to someone so they can be a sounding board.
Yeah, and I think that's a hard reality to face. Is expectation if the world revolves around people setting these expectations. And you when you met them, you say, I got a job for you. You're gonna be a certified moderator.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day,
That's what I thought it was going to be.
if you see something wrong with me, you better know. You better know exactly what it is and how to handle it
And fix it.
and fix it and fix it fast.
See?
I don't care if you need time to process it. I don't care if you don't know me, but you
Mhm.
gonna know. And so what happens is I don't. I don't know because you do isolate. So because you do isolate, I don't know how to handle you. Maybe if I do come and embrace you, get away from me. I would be left alone. But if I don't come, oh, so you just don't care. And this is what we do.
Fighting a losing battle.
It's a losing battle to them because we have not learned how to effectively communicate. So, like you said, I feel like that's a huge part. If you can express your needs, those emotional needs, if you can't express that, then you cannot set the expectation for a partner to understand how to provide those needs.
Mhm.
Then that's just
Because
like
they don't read minds. They're not psychic.
hey, but you said they're certified mind reader. And that's what we do. You should already know this because guess what? When you see me, you should have known that I come from trauma. I'm hurting. Now I'm hurting. I need you. You gotta take this hurt away. Even though you don't know how. And I ain't told you how. Because I don't know how.
Exactly.
So that's the importance of just dealing with self. Dealing with self and then actually coming to terms with, okay, I do need to know how to effectively communicate, especially if I want to maintain a long lasting and fulfilling relationship with somebody. Um,
I think that's the biggest part of it all. Yeah. Is we spend so much time pointing fingers, and we need to take more of that time to deal with self, which is some of what we're gonna go into right now. Okay. Like when we talk about what can be done to help all of these things, difficulty with trust, avoidance of intimacy, hypervigilance, emotional dysregulation, clinginess or detachment, negative self perception, and difficulty communicating needs. What can be done with all of these things is number one, you can seek therapy. A lot of us in our culture don't like to go to therapy. Therapy is not so bad. um you can move around until you find a therapist that suits your need or that you're comfortable with. And individual therapy can help trauma survivors process their experiences by developing coping strategies and coping mechanism and strategies to manage the effects of trauma in relationships. Whereas you won't be guessing anymore. Somebody will help you by giving you tools and strategies to help you maneuver through your healing journey.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I would say. I would say the first and best thing you could do is self-assessment. Um, Start there, because at the core, a lot of things that make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll go from blaming the people that you run into, and you'll start figuring out, why am I attracting these people?
Yeah, because that's the
There's
biggest thing.
something in you. There's something that
Because there's only one common denominator.
in all of it. You could have 20 people, and if it's just you involved, you don't know the side of that, then it's a higher chance it's not those 20 people. So that self-assessment is huge. Therapy is the best thing I could have ever done for myself. Probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
Wow.
Um, you're not too hard to do therapy. You're not too tough to do therapy. Um, it's very beneficial. And it's necessary if you ever want to experience the true you and get to understand who you are as an individual, not who people have told you are, or what society perceives you to be, but who you are as an individual. That's probably the best thing you can do for yourself. And then when you start there, it's almost like all the pieces of the puzzle will start coming together. You slowly but surely attack here and attack there, and then you'll start dealing with the things that are deeper rooted that you don't even recognize, because you compartmentalize everything that you're dealing with and put them in different boxes, and these boxes are just sitting in.
I love it. And you can reach out to us because we provide therapy services,
You know that.
telehealth, and in office. Open communication is the next one. And I like open communication because honest and open, which is something I've started doing so I don't blow up on people. So
Yeah.
if I find that I'm a bit upset, I will wait a day or two or whatever it takes, calm down, and then have a conversation and clearly and quietly and calmly express my feelings and my thoughts. Because if I don't tell somebody how their actions seem to be impacting me, they won't know. I'm just expecting them to be a mind reader.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
So I feel it's crucial to have open communication, because when you don't have open communication, there's no trust and there's no understanding.
It's huge. Both of those are huge. Because uh, relationship can't survive without the other one.
Mm-mm.
No communication, no trust, you have no relationship. And everybody thinks, like a lot of us seek and desire a romantic relationship, but this goes into relationships beyond that. Just maintaining working relationships, friendships, anything like that. This could be siblings, this could be, family in general. If at the core, you cannot communicate and express yourself in a way that other people can understand, where you're coming from and where you stand. um this it's highly likely that you're not gonna be able to maintain those relationships, because in order for me to be able to speak to you, I gotta be able to understand you.
Exactly.
Can't understand if you're not expressing to me what you
Yeah.
are.
Because you're not a mind reader and there's no trust there. The next one is educate your partner. So I believe in this, and this is why I believe in this. Sharing with your sharing with your partner about your trauma.
Okay.
So if my partner doesn't know about the severe trauma I've experienced, then some of the things I'm displaying in the relationship might look to him as crazy. I'm just gonna put one out there. Due to the child sexual abuse and the time of day it happened, I cannot be intimate in the daytime. I had to explain that to my partner because that's something he would have think, what's wrong with her? Like, what all of a sudden she don't want me touching her in the day. But that's it. And so things, just simple things like that.
Yeah, you would have never.
Like that's something you would never thought of, but that is something that I had to sit down and explain to my partner. Look, it happened at a certain time of day, and because of that time, I'm not just don't. That's not. I can't do that.
Mhm.
And if you don't explain those things, they don't know those things and they don't know how to respond. So they jump to conclusion.
Yeah, well, I think that's huge. The education part is huge because it's something what they don't know.
I mean, so where they could support you? How are they gonna support you
Can't support what
in your healing journey
I can't support you
if I don't know?
what I don't know. And the dark side of that is you can start believing on them. And what happens is now you done open a whole nother wound because maybe they came and they are trying to support you, and not because they don't know because you didn't make them aware or you weren't aware.
Mhm.
You start believing on people that didn't cut you.
Yeah, and that's what we say in trauma. When unhealed people hurt other people,
Hurt you.
and so you bleed on people that didn't even cut you. So the next one is important to me. Setting healthy boundaries.
Mhm.
Establish clear boundaries. This can help maintain triggers and protect your emotional well-being.
Mhm.
So with my family icing me out and not talking to me anymore, I created healthy boundaries. So my healthy boundaries is I will not speak to no family member, maintain no communication with them unless I'm in a healthy mind space. If I'm not in a healthy mind space, I will watch that phone ring. I will watch you inbox me on any social media. I will not respond because all you're going to do is trigger me and take me back to where I came from. I'm coming from a healed place now. I'm no longer hurt, and you're not going to take me back there.
I think that's huge, and I think what's important in that too is like being aware of where you are, and then also understanding like
Mm.
you can run up on these triggers again that you've been healed from, and the only way to know that you've been healed or healing from them is to be faced with them. But I can set these boundaries to protect myself. That there are different levels of triggers,
Yes.
so I can position myself to where I do set the boundaries to where I got this wall and you don't intervene this wall. And at a certain level, this is what my cutoff is. And if it's not beneficial to where I am in my journey, I don't have to let you be on this wall. And that becomes difficult because, like you said, that could go from family.
Yeah,
That could.
and y'all were the one who taught me.
Mhm.
It was years ago.
Mhm.
You, your brother, and your stepdad. Y'all taught me that I was literally bleeding on y'all.
Mhm.
And that was when I had to set boundaries because I would get on the phone with these people, and then once I get off the phone, I'm mad at the whole house. I'm slamming doors, I'm fussing with everybody. Nobody in the house did me anything. It's because they don't re-traumatize me. They don't re-trigger me.
Yes.
And so here I go. And so I had to create these healthy boundaries because now you have me bleeding on my children and my husband that didn't do anything to me.
Protect your energy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
If
You
you
gotta protect your
if
peace.
you don't protect your energy and your peace of mind, because unfortunately we don't recognize that that's nobody else's job. So you assume that, oh yeah, that's my bro. He gonna know when I don't reach my capacity. So that's where he's gonna cut it. Nah,
Mm-mm.
that's not their job. So then you learn that that's a test that you got to take on. But these are things that you learn along the way as you go through your healing journey. And you have that's something that you have to be aware of that you do need healing and start. and then you want to take it into um, a romantic setting where uh, you're inflicting that on a partner or anyone who's looking to be involved with you.
Hmm. Most definitely. And then we have practice self care. Prioritizing self care activities can improve your overall mental health and resilience in relationship. I believe in practicing self care. You know, my self care is my nails, my feet, my hair, my massages, my facials. I have to have these and traveling, going out to eat. Um, but a lot of people put self care on the back burner. They spend money doing everything else and they wonder why they're burnt out and they're overwhelmed. When you don't prioritize self care, self care is a time to get away from everything, whether it be meditation, whether it be prayer, whether it be going out to eat, whether it be. I normally tell my clients, like, don't do self care at home because when you do self care at home, let's say you're doing a at home date, y'all gonna go back into talking about the bills, the house, the children, you're not doing nothing for self.
Nope. No,
It
no.
needs to be something that that feeds you and refuels you to be able to continue on.
No. I think that's huge. I I just feel like the the biggest part of it all is if you're not, it's how you position yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. Like when you tackle everything that's going on around you and what that looks like, and you say, okay, I'm gonna be, how can I put it? I'm in control. So I gotta have control on whatever is going on around me. And it's just a conscious decision you have to make when it comes to going through just what can be such a vicious journey. Especially, yeah,
Because it's hard to find self care when you don't really have a self care
uh,
routine. Like
uh,
when you don't have one, it is hard.
because you get accustomed to people pleasing.
So your norm is not norm.
I don't know what it is to what is self care. You get what
Self
I'm
care, yes.
You know what
Mhm,
is self care, and
mhm.
that's why I say like that's hard to unpack. It's like a vicious cycle because it's like okay, you want me to self care, and all I know is taking care of everybody. I don't know.
That's it.
I don't
That's the
know.
word. You just said it.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that looks like. That sounds crazy to me. So now I'm supposed to get up and say, you know what, man? I've been taking care of everybody in my
How do I
life.
take care of myself?
How do I take care of me? And you like, you know what, man? I'm gonna go give me some ice cream.
Yeah, you told me that I
And,
almost lost it.
and I'm like, yeah, that's my self care. You wanna yeah, and it's just like, nah.
You told me that I almost lost it. No,
But it's like, okay, this is
it's
from
a start.
it exactly. And you can gradually work yourself into different variables and what that is like because like we said, I don't know what it is, and that's the dangers of nah,
Being up. That's the dangers of always giving and not receiving,
because you don't.
or because you don't even give to yourself. So when I think of you in self care, I think you are most happy when you're spinning your cars. You are most happy when you're doing that. That would be how you, for me. That may not be your, but from the outside looking in at your mom and knowing you, it looked like that would be how you would get your steam off. It would be you go, you do your cars, and that was awesome, and you get your high, and you good, and you go, and once you do that, you find all your music because those are the two things that you enjoy doing. They bring you self care. It's something that brings you to a place of peace, a peace where nothing else that comes along can disturb it at that moment.
Yeah,
So, whatever you're doing, it needs to be something that you are at a level of unexplainable peace that no matter what comes along, it can't take you off. Because this thing right here brings me so much peace and joy.
and that's huge. That's huge. I think that's what it is. You have to lean to those things, but you just figure them out as you go.
Yeah.
Uh, you step away from what's best for everybody else and what everybody else enjoys, and you start thinking, okay, what do I like? You know, and that's a part of your healing journey because you figure out who you are you figure out what it is for you. Like you said, my drifting, I love drifting my cars. So that's my thing. Like to the extent of where I want to take that step further, I have bigger goals than just because I was, going places and doing it locally. So I'm gonna go bigger than that. And that's just kind of what it is with music. I want to take that far. I feel like my music can provide a sense of understanding, relatability, things that people look for in music in general. So those are the things I look into. That's my self care.
Well, 2025 is the year. Let's get it going.
Mm.
So this is Dr. Gail James signing off with my special guest, Kelvin Samuel II. Tune in next time to From Trauma to Triumph. I'm your host, Dr. Gail James. See you next time.